Okay, we will wait for a minute and then we will start. Amit, you're able to hear me, right?
Yes, Vivek. Yes. Okay.
Great. I see people joining in. Okay, all the attendees, if you can see the screen and if you can hear us fine, I would request someone to please send a message in the chat box that you can hear us and see the screen. We will start in a minute. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think we are audible. Great. So let's get started. So thank you so much everyone for taking out time and attending this webinar session. I will quickly introduce myself. I will introduce our company and our speaker, and then we will start with the presentation. Once you are done with the presentations, with the presentation and the demo, we will be taking your questions. If you have any questions, you can park them in the Q&A box and we'll be more than happy to answer them. Now, this is not going to be a single event. We have done multiple such events in the past. We call this series as I2E Tech Talk. At I2E Tech Talk, our tech leads will talk about the industry problems and how are we solving them at I2E Consulting with effective solutions. I'll start with myself. My name is Vivek Kadam. I have been with I2E Consulting for more than 6 years now. I started off my career years ago in customer support and then I moved to sales. I look after the sales at I2E Consulting and I also act as the account manager for our customers. On the panel, we have with us today our speaker, Mr. Amit Parab. Amit is a senior ERP consultant at I2E Consulting. He specializes in developing customized ERP solutions and integrating them with existing business processes. He has delivered solutions in manufacturing and distribution in pharmaceuticals, engineering, and food industries. He's an expert in business processes and community management solutions and has a huge experience in SQL, ERPNext, SAP Business One, and SAP implementations. About our company, I2E Consulting, we are a software services providing company founded in the year 2008 in the US. I2E Consulting provides business consulting and technology solutions to large pharmaceutical companies like Pfizer, Merck, Novartis, Ironwood, etc. Our major services are project and portfolio management, data analytics, staff augmentation, cloud migration, and all sort of data integration and Microsoft related services. We are a Microsoft Gold partner. We are also partners with AWS and Automation Anywhere, Data IQ, Planisware. We have a huge list of partnerships. So as you all know, today's topic is how to get operational efficiencies with vanilla ERPNext implementation. Without any further delay, I would like to hand it over to Amit. I hope everybody is able to see the screen. Over to you, Amit. You can continue.
Yeah. Thanks for the introduction, Vivek. A very warm welcome and good evening to all attendees. Our topic for today is on ERPNext and how we can achieve operational efficiencies with vanilla ERPNext implementation. And we'll also talk about the license cost freedom. This session is basically geared towards business owners and managers. It is also going to be useful for end users to understand the ease of ERP and its benefit in day-to-day work activities. I will be focusing on different aspects of ERP. Before going ahead, I would like to mention that this webinar is going to be a combination of slide decks along with walkthrough of ERPNext in a manufacturing industry. To begin with the first slide, we will be discussing on the biggest misconception that we have related to ERP is that it's expensive, implementation takes forever, and not for small businesses. So let me tell you, this is often the most general narrative that surrounds any ERP discussion. We have been there and done that. Today, we will attempt to change this. Yeah. Moving to the next slide, let's focus on the agenda we'll be discussing. In today's webinar, we will discuss the relevancy of ERP systems in SMEs. We'll talk about is it worth the cost, discovering open source ERP, particularly ERPNext, and then run a demo on ERPNext about a hypothetical uh, mobile manufacturer, and finally open the house for discussion. So let's get started. Um, to the next slide, we'll be discussing, or let's talk about the myths and misconception in detail. So the first myth we have is ERPNext is expensive, right? So let me tell you, like budget and cost implications are always an important factor while implementing new technology. However, for ERP software is highly cost effective and provides a great return on investment in a long run. It is a myth that ERP system implementation takes a financial toll or burden on an organization. Rather, it gives you very useful benefit and advantages that lead to significant business advantage. The next myth we are going to talk about is ERP implementation is not user friendly. So in past, um, business intelligence softwares or other solutions like ERP have been very user friendly, and historically IT were the people to deal with it. So this is no longer the case, particularly with ERP softwares, which is now easy to use and completely accessible to all staff with some initial training and IT support. You will be seeing that during the walkthrough of ERPNext. The third myth, or the third point which we are going to discuss about is open source is less secure. So this myth comes from many prejudice, but a commercial license doesn't guarantee security to you always. Unlike proprietary software, open source projects are transparent about potential vulnerabilities. With paid software, you simply have to trust the vendor. But with an open source software, you can also take part in code review and then either stick with the previous version, or else you can release your own patch or even disable certain functionalities under suspicion until further notice, like unlike proprietary ERPs. Right? The fourth myth, or the myth we are going to talk about, is ERP is to impress customers. So maybe some enterprise do this, but for small medium businesses, this is an absurd claim. A survey conducted on ERP service providers revealed that ERP software leads to a whooping 68% increase in customer satisfaction. However, that is not the sole or primary purpose of implementing software. It leads to faster response time, then the improved quality and better operational performance in all functional domains. Now that's something more than a mere display product, right? Moving to the next slide, I will brief you about how ERPNext will be useful for your businesses. So ERPNext is a full-featured business management solution that helps SMEs to record their business transaction in a single system. With ERP, SMEs can make informed or fact-based, timely decisions to remain ahead in the competition. It serves as the backbone um, of a business, adding transparencies and control your growing enterprise. The hard truth is that a small business must be faster and sharper than the competition. Here, ERP allows small business to appear or act and operate like an enterprise scale businesses, ensuring that they all can always meet the demands and needs for their customers. So ERP also lets you to connect all aspect of your business and easily share real time and accurate information throughout your company. So ERP can also automate time consuming steps, or help you quote for more jobs and estimate with greater accuracy, reducing your bottlenecks on the shop floor for the manufacturing units. And it will also connect with the historical data to upcoming runs, so you can easily optimize production over time. A good ERP option will offer a suite of business management tools such as CRM, inventory tracking, production plan, or the buying module or the selling module with the production planning and everything. As a small business, you want to invest in the most cost-effective solution that has features and needs and meets your requirements, fits your industries, and is easy for your staff to use. Right, ERPs can help to transform your manufacturing shop, saving you time and money by reducing the operational cost and increasing your efficiency. Obviously, we'll be seeing that in the walkthrough or the demo of our ERPNext. You will also have the added benefit of more safe and secure data, as well as accurate business forecast. So the reality is that the reality of running a small business is that employees wear multiple hats. With so much going on, who on your staff has the time to manually process multiple sheets and even separate mountains of data, right? Yeah. So in next slide, we'll be discussing mostly on the cost benefit analysis. One is how to do it and what things need to be considered. So this is a negotiable components in ERP implementation. However, the important here is how do you do it? ERP can make the procedures of your company much lean and streamlined by eliminating rework and manual handling. Thus, this will reduce your labor cost. In a manufacturing environment, a just-in-time delivery policy can be realized. This will reduce the need of keeping extra stocks with you. This will also free up capital for other use, and your cost of running your the warehouse operations will decrease tremendously. Also, an ERP system with some built-in intelligence can increase the reliability of your company, considering and help you with creating loyal clients. It costs a lot less to retain an existing customer than to acquire a new one. So modern systems are much more open nowadays. Being able to integrate data streams with your customers and suppliers, that opens a world of automation and data analysis that can be used for uh, for all modes of your operations and business models. Moving to the next slide, we'll be talking about how ERP implementation works. It is not easy to implement any ERP in a particular industry or businesses. It is advisable. It is always advisable that to use expert consultation services when in doubt. And I2 is going to be a one-stop solution for all your doubts related to ERP. So to all the attendants, if you have any questions, you can post it in a chat. We'll be taking up all your queries at the end. Right. Moving out to the next slide. Here we have few points on why it should be. It's not easy, be conservative and higher expertise. Yeah, moving out to the next slide. Here we have open source ERP with 3 questions. What is open source ERP? Why we should choose open source ERP? And basically who should use open source ERP? So when companies are deciding on which ERP system to purchase, they will generally look to the major suppliers in their industry or market segments. To name a few, SAP, Oracle, or Infor. These have worked extremely well and will continue to attract the majority of large and medium-sized businesses. There is an alternative that can give medium and smaller companies the same advantage of implementing a larger ERP solutions, but with the ability to customize the product to their needs completely. So here, open source ERP solutions offer companies freely available source code base as a starting point for their implementation, from which they can adapt the code to suit their particular needs. Open source software has gained a significant foothold in the business work, and it is natural that open source solution is the next evolutionary step in the process. Um, Here we will see ERPNext in action. I will be showing you a walkthrough of ERPNext. So I'm logging in from my administrator user to begin with, and ERPNext will display you multiple modules available in the home screen. To talk about is accounting, selling, buying, stock, asset, which is the fixed asset. Then we have a project management module, CRM, support, human resources, what we call it as HRMS, right? To stand with the domain of manufacturing. We will run you through ERPNext implementation in a manufacturing company. We'll start with warehouse and item setup and run through various transactions such as quotation, then creating a sales order, purchase request, then the purchase order, purchase receipt, to end with the purchase invoice at the buying cycle. And then we can begin with the production plan and production order, and to delivery note, and finally the sales invoice. Going through the demo, we will understand how easy ERP implementation makes your life and why you can consider it. Okay, so let's get started with the demo. Here I am at the main screen, and I will just show you what all item master that I have created in my system. So as I told you that we are going to manufacture smartphones, mobile phones, through this, that I have created a finished good with its raw materials. So this is my item master list for all that I have added images to. If I would show you a single item master data, the form will look like this. So this has multiple options, like, item name, their grouping, their default unit of measures. We can also add their barcodes, then the shelf life, warranty periods, to add their weight per unit, which can be useful for the delivery. Right? Then adding up their valuation methods, then auto reorder level is what we can add always. This will be always helpful for all the companies, to add an auto reorder level in their systems. We can manage our products by batches or serial numbers. So mostly that I'm manufacturing mobile phones, so this is always going to be as a serial number, so that I have marked this as a serial number for this. I can even create attributes. So if you have seen that different phone has different attributes, like some phone has 16 GB RAM, some phone has 8 GB RAM. Then we have attributes in colors as well, right? So this is what I have defined, adding that access and everything. If I show you the bill of material for a particular product, it will look something like this, that to create a single smartphone of 16 GB, I will need all these raw materials at my assembly line to begin with, right? So display, motherboard, memory, camera, battery, modem, sensors is the components which will be used at my assembly lines. I have even added the operation cost and the operation time to my bill of material so that I can achieve the final cost of my manufacturing at best. Mostly what we do is we just add the raw material cost, and uh, companies struggle with getting their exact gross profit at the end of the year. So what we have done is we have even calculated the operating cost for manufacturing a particular product, adding their labor cost and different overheads. It can be electricity or any overheads to begin with. Right. So let's begin with the process. So here I'm typing, we call it as a search bar. So whatever document I want to search, I can search it easily through my search bar. So let's say that I want to search for a sales order. Here I click, and then I can even see the search order listing over here. Now that I'm creating a new sales order, I will have to select the customer. So this comes up from my customer master data, and then adding a product to my list. So to begin with, let me select one of this product, and that we have received purchase order from our customer, which is Earth Private Limited. It needs to be delivered by 17th of March with the quantity of, let's say, 500. So I have added that. The rate comes automatically because I have added this in a price list, so that chances of error is very less over here, because user don't need to add the rate. This is what we have added through our price list. We can even assign price list for our different customers, right? So that now that I have added a quantity, rate was already fetched. I have received the amount and everything. Even I have added tax template to my product, which was auto fetched over here. And that's how I can get the total taxes and charges with the grand total for my sales order. Right? So let me just add this sales order first. So all my document will get added in a draft mode first of all. This is for the cross check. You can just verify it, or we can also have a workflow attached to this. Like if I'm adding this particular sales order, and if I want my management to approve this, I can add this workflows to my system. Now that I have submitted my sales order, the status changes to deliver and bill. That means against this sales order, I have to deliver this product. But before that, what I will have to do is, this was an make to order. So I have to run a production plan for this, right? So let me just go to the production plan. So these are some production plan which were generated earlier. You can also see status of different production plans in the status columns. For this, we'll be generating a new production plan. So these tools work like, first we need to select get items from where. Is it a sales order or material request? For us, it was a make to order. Then it is obviously going to be a sales order. Then I will have to select the item code, which is this particular product. I can also filter it out by adding the customer name. And the time I click on get sales order, the sales order which we have just generated will be fetched here. Now that we have an option like select items to manufacture, if I click on get items for work order, so this will show me how many quantity I need to manufacture to fulfill that particular sales order. So accordingly, this will show up their bill of material, what is the planned quantity, right? Here we can get all the raw materials which we'll be needing at the assembly line or at the production floor to begin with. Right? So you see there were like 6 to 7 different products in our bill of material, but what we can only see is few of uh, the listing or the components available in this. One is like if we have that stock available with us in our system, production plan can ignore that stock, right? And if we click on ignore existing projected quantity, and if I again click on get raw materials for production, now I can see all 7 components with its required quantity. This also shows me the projected quantity and the actual quantity available in my warehouse. Right. So I will just ignore the existing projected quantity so that we can complete the overall process flow. I will have to add this production plan to my system. Like I told you, all the documents are added in draft first. I will have to submit it again. Now you can see the status of the production plan as not started. So here we have two options. One is generating a work order and creating a material request. Why we need to create a material request? Because we need to procure all these components at our warehouse first, right? So let me just create a material request. So the way I click on material request will get generated in my system here. So if I click on it, here how it will look like. You don't need to individually create a material request to add. You just need to click on request, and that's how you can create a material request. Next process is system will show you like what you can create from a particular MR or material request. It can be creating a purchase order or create RFQs, request for quotation, or have multiple supplier quotations, right? So if I click on request for quotation, and let's say that if I am adding date here, I can add multiple suppliers. So let's say that Excel Industries is one of my supplier, and AVP Private Limited is one more supplier. So the time I click on select, both the supplier will get an email notification that we have asked for a quotation for all these products with its respected quantity, and required date is this. That's how we can add RFQs to our system. We can compare supplier quotations which we have added earlier. So here we have a supplier quotation comparison report too. Next is creating a purchase order. Now let's say that we have received this material request. We can generate a purchase order against this. Here we will have to select a supplier for which we are going to give this purchase order. All the products which were available in my material request will be fetched in my next document from the base document. Now you can see the rates too, because that I have fixed in my price list. But let's say that the price for display have raised by AVP Private Limited. Now that earlier it was been sold at 1,500, but now they have to sell it for 2,000 maybe. So I can change the rate for this. Now that work order or the purchase order looks good, I can add it. I have to submit this order. We can also integrate our emails so that when a new purchase order is added in a system, the managers or the management will know that a new purchase order to procure some of the components. We have raised a purchase order against this, right? So that now we have received a purchase, or that we have added a purchase order in our system. We can also take a printout of our purchase order. This is how it will look like if we have added discounts, and then we can also add images, their quantity, rates, and everything. We have an option to email directly through our system. This is not Okay, then let's say that we have received this particular um, products or the components in our warehouse. So I will begin it with receipt, which will be the next step of a purchase order. I will be generating a purchase receipt against this. Um, so the time I click on purchase receipt, all the data which was available in my purchase order will be fetched with their quantity and the rate and all. If there is short quantity received at the warehouse, you have the option to change the accepted quantity, right? So let's say that we have not received sensors, so we can even uh, delete this particular row, that okay, in this particular delivery from the vendor we have not received sensors, so we can even delete this particular product from our purchase receipt. Let me click on save. Um, now that we have added a purchase receipt, all this component we have received in our warehouses, we can even check the stock ledger for this all our components. So it will show us that okay, all these stocks have been received at a particular warehouse, which was our store warehouse. Going back, now that we have received purchase receipt, we should even create their purchase invoice. Again, account user or a finance manager can create purchase invoice against this purchase receipt. For that, they will have to simply click on create and purchase invoice. All the data from their base document, which was purchase receipt, will be get copied into our purchase invoice. They can just verify whatever the amount and rate is and see if there are any taxes applicable to it, and then simply click on save. That's how they can add their purchase invoice to the system. Right? So now that we have all the components in stock, we can go back to our production plan. Right. So here we can see that material request. It shows that material was requested, and now that we have received all the stock in our warehouse, we can start with the work order or the production order to uh, clarify. Here that we have generated a work order, I will just simply click on this. Production plan helped us to create a work order for us. This was added in draft, obviously first, and here are all the components. We can also have multi-level BOM for machineries, and we can also have process manufacturing bill of material added to our system with multiple assembly lines and everything. So let me just add this work order. Now that it is added in draft, let me click on save. Okay, so it is asking me for a mandatory field. So system will also, warn you wherever we have a mandatory field and if we have missed that field. So here that work in progress field was, or the warehouse was missing. Now that I have added, let me submit it again. Okay, so if you remember, against that bill of material, I have even created a operation cost. I have added operation cost against a job work. So uh, work order will automatically create a job card for you here, right? So the job card was created here, and to start, so this will be like if I click on start, all the quantities. Okay, so here that we have all the component list, required quantity, transferred quantity, and consumed quantity. Now we can see below transferred quantity, there are no values or in consumed quantity. But if I click on start, so system will generate a stock entry, which will be, okay, let me click on create. System will add all the data required, and here the stock from our stores will be moved to the work in progress warehouse. And if I click on submit, the stock entry for stock movement for stores to work in progress was done here. If I go back and check my work order, this will show me that all the components which was in my store's warehouse is now moved to my work in progress warehouse. So even if I want to see this, so let me just show you one of this item master data. Here I can see the work in progress levels. So work in progress is one of my warehouse and store is my another warehouse. I can easily differentiate between them, like what all stock is available in my stores and what is available in my work in progress warehouse. So this will be used exclusively for this particular work order, right? So now that we have transferred this stock, we will begin with the assembly line. So for that, job card was generated in the system. Here what we'll have to do is add from time and to time, like what time was required to uh, manufacture this particular quantity, which was 500, right? So let me add completed quantity 500. So this took me like 9 hours uh, to complete this task. And if I click on save, this will calculate the minutes for me and click on save. So all this time will be even added to my production, which will be landed on my manufacturing's cost. So you can also check the dashboard here. So let me just refresh this for you. You see the now it will show me that completed operation. So assembly was my operation which I just completed, for which it will indicate me in a green line, right? So now that we have completed the assembly line, we have assembled all our products. Now I can click on submit. So once I click on submit, all my raw materials which was available in my work in progress will get issued, and against that we will get a fresh product which will be our finished good, the smartphone in 500 quantity. Right, you see these are all the serial numbers which were generated for that. I have created FG, and accordingly that I have created a production this thing, like, and accordingly all the serial numbers were generated. Now that we have received all this in our stock, here we have that sales order, and against this I can deliver this. So let me just quickly deliver this product against the sales order. So here is the delivery note which we are going to deliver. Now that we have this product in our stock, we can deliver it to our customers, right? So this is the process how we usually do it. So we can also see the status of all our deliveries, like one shows completed, because of that we have delivered this. Next is to bill, that means we have delivered this product but bill was not generated against this. And now that from here I can create a sales invoice. Right, so let me quickly add a sales invoice here. So this is the overall flow. Then we have reports related to gross profit and many different reports. Here we can see the gross profit percent and what was the buying amount, what was the selling amount. We stick to it or that. So this was the walkthrough. Let me switch to the my slide. Right. So next slide is what we are going to talk about is operational efficiencies with vanilla ERPNext implementation. We saw the bill of materials, how it helps us to measure the cost accurately. Then we also have a module called as where we can manage maintain our machines for the calibrations. Then we saw RFQs for our suppliers, gross profit statements, which help us to manage better our buying and selling cycles, and then the procurement plan, all the production plan which we saw. Um, the next slide is about ERPNext manufacturing. So the main benefit of ERPNext are its easy to use interface, open source solution, and centralized platform for, as we saw, the modules of accounting, projects, CRM, HR, payroll, and among others. So this is quite a flexible platform that can manage your financial planning and even the budgeting, just to name a few. Right. So ERPNext can be deployed either on premise or in cloud, and can be accessed through anywhere from your web browser. So these are a few points, and the ERPNext integrations which is available out of the box. These are few numbers we have with us for the ERPNext. So from the initial release of ERPNext, which was released in the year 2008, we have 270 plus contributors, 10,000 plus commitments, more than 50,000 deployments all over the world. And at the ERPNext forum, we have active 9,000 plus members. Here we have to wrap it up to talk about that different aspects of ERPNext. One is like delivering more jobs on time, reducing the inventory cost by not, unnecessarily adding more stock to our warehouses. Then we also see eliminating purchasing errors, because user don't need to actually add rates while creating a document. Then we can also improve production efficiency through multiple reports, through production plans, and this will always help you to lower your operation cost. So I now leave the room open for questions and answers.
Well, thank you so much, Amit. It was a great session. We have a lot of questions, waiting for you. Let's get started. We'll take. I see that we have a lot of questions from Bipin. Okay.
Bipin.
Yeah, the first one is, how does ERPNext comply to 21 CFR Part 11 of USFDA? You want me to take this one?
Yes, Vivek, if you can, about the compliances.
Okay. So ERPNext can be 21 CFR Part 11 compliant. We at I2E Consulting have services where we kind of provide consultation in the regulatory compliance area. We also have partners who help us in such deals. So yeah, it can be made compliant. The next one is, in pharma, task completed needs to be confirmed by signature of the person doing the task. This feature is missing in ERPNext. Is this digital signature by any chance? Amit, can you take this one?
Okay, so you see, sir, if there are any missing features which is not available in ERPNext, always we have an option to customize it at all levels. So if you're talking about digital signatures, yes, definitely we can add this to the ERPNext.
Great. There's another one that says, I tried to install Frappe Bench and install MariaDB, but get error while creating the first site as access to the DB is denied. How to resolve this?
Okay. So, sir, this is something we can take it offline, maybe, because if you know what is the root cause of it, we can, always achieve this.
Okay. Next one is, how to access ERPNext from another manufacturing location of a company which hosts the ERPNext instance at head office server.
Yes. So, sir, if you have this ERPNext in at your head office server, you will have to, point this to a public IP. So that you can access it from anywhere you are. So this is one thing you need to do it, adding it in public IP.
Right. Next is, can we just use a specific module, say CRM in ERP next?
Yes, definitely. So we can do that. So there are multiple modules available, but if you want to use just the CRM part of it, you are free to do that. So there is no dependencies of implementing all the modules available in ERPNext.
Another question is, does ERP next has permission control?
Permission control, yes. We do have a role and permission tool in which we can give specific access to a particular user, and this can be even managed till the minute level of showing a particular field.
Right. The next we have is how to make a workflow involving multiple stakeholders working at the same stage of the workflow.
Okay. So this is something, sir, again, we can take it offline because there's a process of creating workflows which will need a tool, what we call it as a workflow tool. So this can be added in that.
Okay. Then we have, can entries of a job card be simplified by getting the entry auto-filled by scanning barcodes / QR codes?
Yes, definitely. So this is not something available out of the box, but yes, this can be done to the customization in ERPNext. So this is easily achievable.
Right. Testing of incoming in-process finished goods against specification is not covered in this demo. Please demonstrate the same.
Okay. So that now I have a time will complete this part of this thing.
Or let's do this.
Yeah.
We can always contact the user. There are a couple of other questions. I request everyone, whoever is interested to know more, send your contact details and we will connect with you offline, and we can have a brief discussion about the features in detail of ERPNext.
Exactly.
Okay, let's finish up all the questions, and then if we have time, we'll definitely, you can go ahead and show that piece.
Yeah.
The next I have is, can ERPNext be integrated with our website or the other softwares that we use in the organization?
Okay, so to talk about a specific website, yes, we can do that through REST APIs. So as I told you earlier, that ERPNext is an open source software which supports REST APIs, and there are tools available like Postman through which you can easily integrate your website. I believe this is for the leads which gets generated at your website, and you get multiple mails of leads, and that chances are that you might miss that. So you can have these entries in your ERPNext. This will be covered under your CRM part against the lead. And okay, with your softwares, this needs to be checked on what different softwares you want to integrate this with. If that particular software supports REST APIs, then definitely we can integrate it with.
Okay, the last one I have is, can barcodes / QR codes be generated for the issued material which can be posted on the issue and same scanned on the shop floor to automate entry of the same during production? You want me to repeat it?
So
this is a huge one.
Yes, can you please?
Okay, so can barcodes / QR codes be generated for the issued material which can be I think this should be posted on the issued material or pasted on the issued material, and then the same scanned on the shop floor to automate entry of the same during production?
Yes. So to answer this, ERPNext don't have a barcode generator out of the box. It just has that, we can have a particular barcode applied to a product and we can scan that. But generating a barcode uh, is something we will have to customize it, and we should have a defined process. So once that we have a defined process against the customization, we can achieve this flow.
Great. We are done with all the questions. If you have any further questions, everyone, I request you to please post them in the Q&A box. Till the time we get those requests, I think we have some time at hand. Let me go back to the question where the user asked for a demo. Yeah, so this is testing of incoming in process finished good against specification is not covered in the demo. Please demonstrate the same. Do you have something to show?
Yes,
now?
yes,
Okay,
yes.
great.
Yeah. Okay, so now that we had created a delivery note, if you remember, against that, I will be creating a quality inspection. So for a particular product I have created, so let me get it in a full page. On a quality inspection form, we have three different quality inspections. One is incoming, outgoing, and in process. Now that I have set it for my finished good, like before delivery, I need to do a outgoing quality inspection. Now that what will be the delivery note? What will be the reference for that inspection? For me, it is going to be the delivery note because the inspection type is outgoing. Now that I need to add the product for which I'm going to do the inspection, right? If I scroll down, that I have added few parameters, or I have fixed few parameters for my finished goods. So these are four different parameters which needs to be tested at QA level. One is display quality. Second is inspecting the speaker and microphone. Third is checking the battery power, which will be the acceptance criterias too, and then the power on off. So for display quality, let's say that we will be checking for no dead or pixelated displays. For speaker or microphone, we'll be testing on their clarity. For battery power, we'll be checking its charging speed, and for power on off, we'll have to switch off the smartphones to begin with. Here we have three readings. So we can add readings. What was the reading from the first batch, second batch, third batch, or how many times that you have tested the product. So against each parameter, we have option to accept or reject it. Right. So quality inspection template is what something I had added earlier for this product. You can add or edit this particular template anytime. You can remove a particular parameter, or you can add few more parameters to your product, and that can be tested during the quality inspection. Now that all these parameters are tested and that I've accepted, I can add remarks. Next is I can also define who has verified this, or who was the QA to test all these parameters at their end. Now that if I click on save, first, like I told you, it will be added in draft. And if I click on submit, my quality inspection is done here. So now that I can proceed with the delivery part. So the delivery note which was added in draft, now I can proceed it with the delivery, or I can submit this now. Right? So it will ask me required for submission. Right. So yeah, so I guess this was the one for which I have created. Yes, so that's how I can deliver or create a delivery note. Once that I have added inspection, then only system will allow me to deliver the product against the sales order. And yes, against this, I can create invoicing. Now that I have created invoice, I can send this invoice to my customer. It shows me unpaid because customer has not paid me yet. I can create a payment against it, or else even have a printout of my sales invoice. This can be sent to my customer directly through ERPNext through email. Else I can have a PDF copy of it. Right. So we also have multiple print formats attached. Right. So we can have these formats assigned. Yes, do we have any more questions to take?
Yes, I think I have two more questions. One is, do you have any reference SOP/work instruction for this demo? Example, to check the display quality.
So SAPs of work instructions, sir, can be added, in the attachments section of quality inspections. So users can always refer that, and this is something we can add it in the attachments section.
Okay. And lastly, the final question is a certificate of analysis generated after the quality test?
Yes. So let me show you. So against all the quality inspection which we have submitted in our system, we can have a certificate of it. So this is something standard what we have in our print layout, but this can be always customized the way customer is expecting, or the design they need. So this will show us the parameters, their acceptance criteria, and who has tested it, inspected by, and the status of it. So yeah, this is how it will look like.
Great. Okay, I have got one more. It says no attachment. Can these be generated in ERPNext itself?
Okay, so this is something we need to discuss it in detail. Maybe sir, you can get in touch with us, and this is something we can take it offline.
Great. I think I have got the contact details. So I will reach out to you, sir, Bipin, and based on your availability, we can have a call early next week. Yeah, I don't see any other questions, and yeah, it's so we are exactly on time. So if there are no further questions, I would like to conclude the session here. It was a great session. Very good job, Amit. You handled all the questions very well. Everyone, thank you so much again for your time, for showing up. Remember, we do such sessions every month, sometimes twice a month. Follow us on LinkedIn. We are also there on social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram. Subscribe to our newsletter so that you'll get all the updates from I2E Consulting, and you will be able to register for all the future events. Once again, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much, Amit. You take care.
Thank you. Thank you, Vivek.
Take care, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye. The recording, by the way, of this webinar will be sent to you soon. And if you need any further details, you can always contact us on the email address that you see here, or you can always contact me on my email address, which is vivek.kadam@i2econsulting.com. It is vivek.kadam@i2econsulting.com. All right, then. Thank you very much, everyone, and good night.
Thank you.